I always thought that when I died, a light would lead me to my afterlife. It turned out there was no light for me. All I could see was blackness. I wasn't sure what that meant. Was it possible I wasn't dead? Or was it more likely the blackness was my afterlife? There was no way to know for sure, and that was a frightening feeling. I remembered the sound of the gun being fired. It had been so loud, though the pain in my ears was nothing to what exploded through my chest. It had felt as if my heart was ripped to shreds by some monster with fiery talons dipped in acid. The pain had been so intense, yet it was the horror on Ian's face that really hurt me. The memory of his anguish as he'd held on to me made the blackness seem welcoming. In a finger snap, the dark was gone. It was similar to waking from a long sleep. The odd, disoriented feeling compounded as I looked around. I stood in a crowd, everyone talking at once. Laughter and music filled the air, along with the smells of fried food and popcorn. It was obviously the fair, although I hadn't been there in years. A hand touched my arm, so I turned to look. Dark blonde hair, Caribbean blue eyes. Ian, he was there. I leaned in, feeling warm and comforted as he wrapped his arms around me and pulled me close. Nothing mattered other than the fact he was with me. It didn't matter that nothing made sense. All I cared about was that we were together. He smiled, leaning down to touch his lips to mine. "You look happy," he commented, tucking my hair back behind my ears. "How could I not be happy? You're here," I said, speaking a truth I had never said aloud before. He smiled at me, pulling me a bit closer as we turned to walk through the crowd. Someone made a scoffing noise not far from us. "Okay, Ian, you need to back off. You're making me want to puke." I turned, my mouth falling open at the sight of her. Her straight, dark blonde hair and Caribbean blue eyes were identical to her brother. Unlike Ian, though, Emma's face was twisted in a sneer. I stared at her. Emma. How was it possible? What was going on? Nightmarish images floated their way through my mind. Emma hanging from the rafters of their garage. Emma in a casket. Emma's ghost in a white dress, her eyes fixed on me in rage. No, it couldn't be true. It couldn't. Emma was right there, whole and alive. My best friend, the sister of my heart. As a child, I had always felt plain and inadequate around her. My brown hair and fair freckled skin had seemed boring by comparison. As an adult, I didn't feel quite the same way. I had become a bit more confident in the last few months. Ian had helped to bring that about in me. He made me feel beautiful, which was something I had never felt before.